Right, hello everybody, welcome back to The Golden Sky. Today it is Friday the 14th of November 2025. I'm Tom, welcome back to the channel. In today's video we are going to look mostly at the Man City disaster from last week. I know that game happened almost a week ago. I've had a very busy week, which I'll tell you about in a second. So we're going to look at that game, but also we're going to look at some proposed solutions that I've been seeing online for Liverpool's performances and play, and whether I agree or disagree with them. We're going to look in today's video, basically, again, what's wrong with Liverpool, what are they doing wrong, in my opinion, and can it even be fixed? I hope so. That's the plan for today. So, bit of a catch-up. First of all, if you're joining me here on YouTube, thank you very much, first of all. And if you do enjoy the video today, please do leave it a like, drop a comment on what you think is wrong with Liverpool right now. And the rule is you can't just say everything. You would be correct, but be more specific. Yeah, let me know what you think of what I'm going to discuss in this video, and also subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 250 subscribers. It is an international break now. I do have an idea for the international break, which I'll say in a second. Something you might want to see. But yeah, if you can do all that good stuff, like, comment, subscribe, that'll be great. And podcast listeners, 5-star ratings and reviews. Thank you very much for listening as well. So before we get into things, let's just catch up here. For those who've seen me before, it's been a few days since I have posted a video. I had an exam this week. That was yesterday. So that's done now. That's why there's been no video until today, because it's been heavy on the exam. And now I'm free. So I'm free to make videos about this horrible team again. Treated myself last night by rewatching the Man City game. Oh, that was lovely. So little few stories from yesterday. First one, I was in Manchester, okay, the city of Manchester, for the exam, and after the exam I decided I'll take myself into Uniqlo. I wanted something from Uniqlo, right? I thought I'll go try it on, no worries. Have you ever been in a Uniqlo, guys? Because I hadn't until yesterday. Went in, oh my god, that place is ridiculous. It's impossible to find anything that you want in Uniqlo. There's a billion different things, and guess what? They all look exactly the same. There was just stuff everywhere, and also people everywhere. Why was everybody in the known universe in Manchester Uniqlo on a Thursday lunchtime? Have you not got places to be, people? What is going on? I mean, honestly, I was out of my depth, everybody. I didn't know what to do. People just stopped walking in the middle of aisles. Is this normal practice in Uniqlo? Mate, would not recommend. There's also people knocking around in Manchester just selling sweet corn on the street. Just straight up sweet corn, nothing else. Now, I respect the hustle, but really? People are buying just straight up sweet corn? Honestly, I could smell it from miles away as well. I don't like sweet corn, so that wasn't ideal. Went in a JD, and they had the loudest music. Not to sound like an old person here, but honestly, how anyone works in that, it was completely empty except the staff, and I can see why, because you went in, it was like a rave. It was insane. So I did that, and then I also came home and I watched the Kenny Dalglish documentary, which, if you haven't seen, definitely check that out, because it was really good. I would say you probably want to be a Liverpool fan if you watch it, because it's extremely like Liverpool heavy. And I really liked the split between kind of the first half and the second half. And I won't spoil it and show you and explain why, but yeah, really good watch. And it's inspired me into my idea, which I mentioned a few seconds ago, for the international break. Again, not finalised yet because I need to check the copyright laws, but if possible, would people like to see a video where I rewatch sort of a watch along, but of an famous old Liverpool game from sort of Dalglish's era? I think it'd be quite fun, or maybe a few, depending how long and how much footage I get that I feel is useful. Would people like to see that? If so, let me know in the comments. Yeah, that'd be great. Also got the train yesterday. Absolute rip-off, complete rip-off. 20 quid for a return. Don't even get me started. Insane. Overall, not a great experience in Manchester. And it was the same for Liverpool on Sunday last week. So should we go and look at the board, first of all, and see what City did to us, and look at some solutions people have said and how we can fix it as well that I've seen this week, and I'll give you my thoughts on those solutions. Let's go and have a look to start talking about some football. Good God. All right, guys, this is how the two teams set up on Sunday last week, and I understand the game was 5 days ago at this point, but let me remind you of kind of what the general pattern of play was in this game, because it's been a heavy focus this week. Now, I've watched a lot of videos about this game, people analysing it, that type of thing, and one thing that everyone's been saying is how Man City shepherded the ball to Ibrahim Konate. So let's put City in that sort of position where they wanted to be, to press us, to do exactly that. They were very high, City, extremely high actually. We're going to look at clips in today's video as well to back this up, but this is kind of how City were, right? So, first thing I want to say about this, everyone's been talking about this over the last week, thinking they're revolutionary analysts, I think. Or some people think they are anyway. This is not a new thing Man City have done to us. Teams have done this to us this season in other games, directing the ball to Konate. It happened earlier in the season multiple times. So, don't be fooled. This is not new. This is a clear tactic that teams do to us. We have struggled with build-up all season because we can't figure this out. I don't know why. I have solutions which I'll propose later, but let's look at those in a second. So what Man City did, you can see how I've set them up. They overloaded one side of the pitch when our goalkeeper had the ball from a goal kick. Now, Mamardashvili also left-footed. So naturally from a goal kick wants to pass the ball with the instep of his left foot, which naturally puts his body position this way. It's just natural. Unless he opens up his body and plays this way, it's a little bit less natural to kick it long this way. More, if you're going to kick it long, you kick across the ball with his left foot this way. So naturally he's facing this way. And Haaland would curve his run to not allow Mamardashvili to pass the ball to Van Dijk. Hence why it would come to Konate. And what you'll see is Foden, Doku, the players who go near him, it was Foden usually, would be stood right off him. Now we are just way too soft at accepting what teams want us to do and just doing it anyway. It's a big problem because what we found a lot of the time was Konate would get the ball, suddenly Man City would jump, the ball might come out to Bradley, but Doku would be right onto him, and then it would go down the line to Salah, and more often than not, we would lose it. They'd be right around us. City would be really tight like this. O'Reilly would get stuck in. They'd squeeze. Salah would lose the ball, and we'd be back with City in possession, maybe back with the goalkeeper of centre-backs. That happened so many times in this game. We just could not pass the ball through midfield at all. We've struggled with that all season long. We can't pass the ball through midfield. Now, a problem that we've also got is that our striker never touches the ball. That's another problem. I don't really know why, and what we've seen, and I'll show you the average positions of the players later, is, for me, too many of these midfield players are stood in the same position. We're seeing a lot of this in a game where they're basically on top of each other, and we're just so predictable and easy to play against. Now, a lot of this people have been analysing, is it tactics, Well, I think potentially yes, but what I'm going to look at in the photos, I personally don't blame it all on tactics. I think this is an effort and an intensity problem. So one thing I've seen channels on YouTube and people online propose Liverpool do to fix this issue we've got of Konate having the ball and us being bad in build-up or whatever is to go to this sort of formation. So Bradley here, Konate here. I'm going to build it with you guys, okay? Van Dijk here, Robertson here, yep. And then it would be something like this. So Kirkes would come in. And then, I mean, you could make this Frimpong or Bradley, doesn't matter. This, you seeing the vision yet? This. And then this. This is what I've been seeing people say online. Now, this ladies and gents, is a 3-4-3 or 3-4-1-2 or whatever you want to call it. With Wirtz in the number 10, Ekatike and Isak both up front, fullback Kirkes and Bradley or Frimpong at wingback, with Robbo, Van Dijk and Konate at centre-backs, or maybe Gomez, or people I've even seen putting Gehi in, who doesn't play for us, he plays for Crystal Palace. People need to stop talking about Gehi, okay? It's ridiculous. We can't blame everything on Gehi, right? So people have been saying this. Now, do I hate it? No. I understand what people are saying. Kirkes and Bradley or Frimpong probably operate better as wingbacks because of their attacking attributes. Wirtz operates best as a number 10. Agree. Ekatike and Isak both in the same team. Good. These are all positives. Szoboszlai's in the midfield. Good. Maybe we're more defensively sound with 3 centre-backs. Good. Is it at all a realistic solution? No. And that is the key that people fail to understand when they talk about tactics. They don't think, is this actually realistic and should I even be bothering talking about it at all? This is not realistic, guys. The reason why, reason number 1, there's no Mo Salah. I'm sorry, everybody, as long as Mo Salah is here at Liverpool, whether you like him, whether you hate him, whether you love him, no matter what your opinion is of him, he is going to start pretty much every game that matters. It's a fact. And he's only going to start on the right wing. Now, when he goes to AFCON, obviously he won't be here, and we'll see. Maybe there's an upturn in performance that correlates directly with Salah going to AFCON. But I'll tell you one thing for sure, he was not our worst player in this match. He was terrible, but there were worse players on the pitch. By far. Now, immediately that renders this formation unusable. But what else renders it unusable is that Liverpool just do not play 3 at the back consistently. You might say, sure, we played it against Crystal Palace in the Cup, but that doesn't really count for me because the team was just whoever was fit enough to play who hadn't played. And it just so happened that we had players to fit into that sort of formation and no one else. I mean, we started Kieran Morrison. Amarinallo came on and got another red. Do you know what I mean? You can't take anything from that game. Liverpool playing a 3 at the back simply just does not exist. It wouldn't be accepted, I don't think, very much at Anfield. Also, Cody Gakpo, to a lesser extent, not in the team and no wingers, no places to put him. Arne Slot is just not going to do that, guys. This is just not ever going to happen. People expecting us to do this, they're just talking in a dreamland. It's never going to happen. So if you've seen those videos, I respect the analysis. It's good analysis because I actually understand the idea of this. The idea, obviously, Konate's pushed a bit out wide. We've got more build-up options where we've got Van Dijk in the centre. We can go wide to full-backs, to wing-backs even. We've got 2 in the middle still versus that number 10. It's all positives, but it's just not going to ever happen. And also, while Salah's still here, it's never ever going to be a situation where we can play a formation that consistently doesn't have him at right wing. So, how do I think we should fix our build-up? So, for me, let's put Maka in again. Let's put Salah back in just for width purposes. Let's put Wirtz on the left. Although I do actually hate Wirtz on the left, I will say that. For me, build up. If teams want to push us to Konate, okay, let's put Haaland back. If teams want to push us to Konate, for me, the way that we have to build up is these 2 players in the middle have to be so much braver, McAllister and Gravenberch. If they're being pressed like this, just go and watch a PSG game and look how brave their midfielders are. And you'll see. If Konate is being shepherded the ball like this, and when he gets it, Gravenberch, McAllister, Szoboszlai have to be braver on the ball. And what that means is they have to be comfortable taking the ball where they have pressure. So let's say Foden rushes Konate. Gravenberch he must find an angle for a pass. Because he's now the free man. If Foden is rushing towards Konate, Doku's out wide, Haaland's pressed the goalkeeper, Bernardo Silva's in here, Nico's here. We've got numbers in the middle, even if they shuffle across like this. Even if they shuffle right across, we can be brave. We can go out to the left. Or maybe we can pop it into the middle and then swing it round to the other centre-back. This is why it's called the pivot, this position. But Gravenberch is not acting as a pivot. There's no pivot at all. We might say we have a double pivot. There's no pivoting actions going on from these midfielders. It doesn't exist in our team. It just goes long. And when we actually went long, it was successful. When we tried to play into this stupid targeted City press, it was just a disaster. And they destroyed us. So I think these players have to be braver. We saw it against Arsenal. When we were trying to build up against Arsenal, we saw Gravenberch dropping into this position. And this created sort of that 3 at the back that you're, being proposed as a fix. But it's not with the extra defender. It's with just a midfielder simply popping into the back line. And it just creates a bit of confusion for who should be pressing who when City are going so tight. Now, City are a great side and they press really, really well. We know that. But can Ekatike come as well? Can Konate find these longer passes into Ekatike's feet? Our link-up play and our quality is just not good enough. And these patterns of play have to be worked on. This is coachable stuff. That's why it's worrying for me. However, that was not all that was wrong, and we talked there for nearly 20 minutes about tactics. So let's go and look at some photos and see a bit more about what I'm talking about in a bit more of a context. Okay, so warning to everybody who's about to watch these images. Look at these images. Extremely graphic. Liverpool getting absolutely destroyed, murdered on the dance floor by Man City. Completely outplayed in this game. It was domination from pretty much start until 60 minutes by City. And it was only 60 minutes because they stopped playing. And I'll show you that later as well. So let's start off in the first clip. We're going to go through these I'm going to try and go through with a bit of pace. Right. Doku with the ball. First thing, very, very first thing I want you to notice. Look at Gravenberch just watching Doku. Now, keep that in your mind because that is going to happen a lot. Just watching him. No intention at all to just clear him out or make a tackle. None at all. Okay? Keep that in your mind. Doku knocks the ball onto Bradley. Now O'Reilly's got the ball here. We're actually looking okay. Things are actually all right here, but look. The ball progresses into the box. Easy clearance. Except, no it isn't. Konate makes a massive meal of this. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what this body position is at all. What is this technique? I have no idea. This should be just cleared up the pitch with his right foot. Or he could even take a touch with his left, maybe play a pass. But he just sort of kicks it anywhere. Just panic at the back. Look at Gravenberch. He was shocking in this game. On the rewatch, shocking, by the way. Terrible. Just completely on his heels, look. No anticipation. Look at Doku. On his toes, ready to go. Nicks the ball off Gravenberch, who's just stood there. Not Doku wins the ball. Dribbles a bit. And now we actually find ourselves in, what is this, like a 3 or 4v1 over here? Maybe you could say Foden's involved. But he should never, this should be a tackle. Come on, guys. Just tackle him. This is nothing, guys, I've said this so many times this season. What you're seeing, is nothing to do with tactics. These pictures are nothing to do with tactics. This is effort. This is aggressiveness. This is intensity. This is desire. Okay? Gravenberch just stood still. Look at the danger, Ryan. Doku dribbles straight through them both. Luckily, we managed to sort of snuff it out at this point, and they don't make anything from it. It's lucky. Now, here we see where City have shepherded us to Konate, as we saw so many times. Now, there's countless examples I could have put in here of where he just kicked the ball down the line and we lost it. But this is an example of when we did something different. I'm going to show you this one instead. But what I was talking about in the tactics, where these midfielders need to be more brave, Gravenberch is actually doing it here. This ball could just be slipped into Gravenberch, and then maybe he can take a touch. He's quite good at receiving the ball, under pressure. Pop it into his feet here and let him maybe play past the Wirtz. Maybe Ekatike can get involved. Maybe we can find a different angle to Salah. McAllister's hiding. This is nothing. Szoboszlai's never in a position to receive the ball. He's asking for it, but if this pass comes in here, he'll just be immediately pressured. It's too dangerous. Konate's not got any sort of idea of where he wants to pass it into here. He just kicks it long. It's actually a relatively good decision because for the first time in the game, we actually turned City round. The ball bounces over their heads. Ekatike gets after it, feeding off pure scraps. Here's our left winger. This is just madness. Salah goes through. Ends up actually getting to the ball first. And we get unlucky. He takes a shot, it gets blocked partially, and then it just falls straight to Donnarumma. But honestly, that was one of our better moves of the first half. That's how bad we were. Now, next clip, we see Doku with the ball again on the left-hand side. And, oh, look at that. Once again, everybody. Ryan Gravenberch, he's like Charles Darwin on that island, yeah? Looking out for the theory of evolution. With his binoculars, just watching birds all day long, just looking at them. Maybe he's looking at City's double stacked advertising boards, which is shocking, by the way. Two stacked on top of each other, well, made to look like they are, with having them set apart. That's besides the point. Gravenberch just staring at Doku. Get right over to him and make a tackle. You're the spare man. You're the help. Bradley has to stand him up. Completely understand that, because Bradley's the one where if he makes a dive in and Doku is very tricky, you know, dribbles past him, then we're screwed. But you are the help, Ryan. Go and close him down, force him to have to run away from you, and then Bradley can make a tackle. Like, don't make it easy. We just watched him all game, binoculars out. Like, it's shocking. He doesn't get anywhere near him. He just walks over. There's no fear in Doku of Gravenberch coming over. None at all. He just knocks the ball past Bradley. But Bradley does pretty well. He shepherds him. He's got this under control completely. Bradley's got his arms out. He's not letting Doku pass. This is good defending. And then we see the Green Giant come along. Or the Iron Giant, maybe. Needs bloody rusty Iron Giant. Needs some oil. Or anti-rust, is that a thing? Again, what is this technique? What is this, bro? He's like broke his knee in half. How is this even possible? I don't understand. Comes across for no reason. There's no reason for him to come across here at all. Kicks the ball straight into Doku and then puts Bradley on the floor. It's just insane. These are individual errors. This is not tactical. This is just bad play. Individual errors, brain farts. Now, we're lucky. They get the penalty here, and people can say it was a penalty, it wasn't a penalty, whatever. We're lucky A, because they miss, and we're lucky B, because if Doku just passes this ball to Haaland, this is a tap-in, complete tap-in. We're lucky he misses him, he doesn't get his head up. Mamardashvili comes out, they take him out, and they get the penalty. Now, I put this photo in because on the replay you can see just how stupid this is for Konate to come across here. And when he does, the way he does it is just abysmal. If you're going to come across here to take this ball, you've got to welly it into touch. You have to, or you have to take a heavy touch around the pressure, and then you can play out the line if you've got a bit of confidence within you. If you're like a Franco Baresi type player, which he absolutely is not. Otherwise, leave it to Bradley. Let him shepherd it. Let Mamardashvili come out and claim it. Let Bradley knock it back to Mamardashvili, and then maybe we can play out the other side. It's just shocking. He comes right over. Look, Van Dijk's like, what is going on? Got his arms out. He was awful in this game as well, by the way. Body language, at times, a joke. But he's saying, why are you over there? And you have to ask the same thing. Doku gets it. Again, you can see how open this pass was. If he just passes it here, Haaland's easily scored. We move on. New clip. Liverpool on the ball again. Now, this is where you see again, Liverpool's formation is just all over the place. I don't really understand our formation at the minute. I don't think Slot does. We've tried a few different things. Sometimes they've worked a little bit. Sometimes they've not worked at all. Sometimes they've made us worse. I don't really know. We've got problems. Everyone's too narrow, first of all. Wirtz is so narrow. Salah's so narrow. There's absolutely no width. We've got our three midfielders are very tight together, very congested, and then Konate just randomly in the middle as well. Presume he's just won a header because, Haaland is there too. So win the header, get back in your position. Go and get back. Gravenberch, you've got the ball. Okay, great. Let's play a forward pass. Let's get the ball to Salah. Let's get the ball through the lines to Ekitike. Let's play. Instead, he decides to try and turn around backwards. What? Why? I have no idea. Konate, by the way, just still stood there. If anyone was wondering where Konate was, he's just still stood there. He's like a snowman. He's been built, and that's where he'll stay until he melts. He's just stood there. Like he's on pause. Genuinely like someone paused him. Just stood there. He did this against Brentford as well. Just stood there while Kevin Schade ran through and scored. Gravenberch loses the ball, and now just look at the body language of our players. It's so bad. Ekatike, arms out. Like what? McAllister, arms out. Gravenberch, arms up. Canate still stood there, completely still. Abominable snowman, mate. Telling you. Just bad. City get the ball, immediately get it out wide. And they did this all game. They had us really, really wide, and we had nobody who would track. I said this in the preview, how City like to play really, really direct wingers now. That's their style. And I actually said we might be happy to push them out there. Now, like we did against Real Madrid, we pushed them out to the left. The only difference was this time is Doku destroyed us in this game. But we couldn't have helped him more if we'd have tried. Giving him this run to get his speed up, to get his dribbling going. Of course he's going to destroy you. He runs inside, completely unchallenged. Again, we've got Gravenberch just being attracted to the ball, but not quite attracted enough to actually go and make a tackle. He's too late. McAllister's just been thrown to the floor by Haaland. This is the lack of physicality. Just thrown to the ground. Doku plays this ball in. Now, there's 3 City players who are running onto this ball. 3 to Liverpool's none. Okay, how's that even possible? Cherky's the one who gets it. As you can see, here's the line of City players. 2 of Liverpool's midfielders on the floor. 2 of them. It's just like, honestly, it's like slapstick comedy. I swear. Cherky has a shot, it gets blocked. We're lucky they don't score. Now, again, City have the ball. I hope you're noticing, guys, this is all effort. This is all just effort, lack of quality. This is not tactical. Again, none of this is tactical. We haven't been out-tacticked in this game, except maybe the fact that City kept everyone so wide. But if we were out-tacticked by that, that's not a new thing City have done. So you have to question what the manager is watching. Haaland gets the ball here. Now, this is where, for me, we're just not aggressive enough at all. No tackles. We'll talk about some stats later in the video. Like, Canate, go and tackle him. Foul him. You know, do something. He takes a touch. Look where he has to take the touch. It's almost at his chin, right? Takes the touch. Does he get tackled? No. Does he even feel the centre-back on him before he has to make his next touch? No. It's easy as pie for Haaland, okay? Who's not the best at link-up. Like, let him know that you're behind him. Like, shove him. Put him off balance, you know? Takes the touch. Plays the ball into Foden's path. And oh, look at this again. Doku running completely through one-on-one. Canate nowhere to be seen in the back line. Where's the rest of our midfield? Well, here's McAllister down here, randomly at left wing. Szoboszlai, more further advanced than Mo Salah. Like, what is our formation? Doku gets the ball. Again, one-on-one with Connor Bradley. Runs him all the way into the box. Gets onto him. Again, we see us being weak. Doku just shoves Bradley off him. Get off. Leaves him on the floor. He's sprawled along the ground. Now our midfielders have got back. Or they desperately tried to anyway. Doku has 2 options, so he could just roll this ball to if they want to have a shot. He's even potentially got this one across the box to Haaland, if he can maybe do that. He actually decides to roll Gravenberch, who again is just looking at him, just watching, Charles Darwin style. And Doku has a shot. Doesn't go in. So already we've been peppered. We're lucky not to be 1-0 down. Very lucky. But we survive. Until now. And if I tell you that Man City are about to score and show you that the ball is in their corner flag quadrant, it's astounding, isn't it? It really is. But just look at Liverpool's press here. Because there's so much wrong with it. It blows my mind. Now, this is tactical, guys. This is where you can look and say, what on earth is the setup? Right, first thing for me, why is Van Dijk on the halfway line on his own with Canate following Haaland? Now, I can understand why Canate might be here so high. Van Dijk, I can understand why he might be here on the halfway line, because he wants to be as far back as possible without playing anybody onside. So right at the edge of the halfway line where they'd be onside anyway. Gives him the most chance to run back. I just feel like these two should be together more as a partnership. That's the first thing. Andy Robertson's really narrow. That's good because the ball's on the far side of the pitch. That's where you want him to. You want to squeeze, okay? But he's not tight enough to Shirky. Shirky's his man. Go and get right up to him. Go and get really close. Look at McAllister and Gravenberch. Why are they stood there? They are literally doing nothing there. Nothing. This for me has to be tactical to tell them not to go too far forward and press. Because otherwise, they have to be here. They just have to be there, pressing high. I think Slot told the team, we're not going to go and press that high. And that's why we let City play. I think we were concerned that they would just press through us. And that's weak. Really weak mentality. Because there's no other reason for these players to be here. Szoboszlai's got Doku. Okay, that's fine because Bradley's pushing up. But again, Bradley, get closer to Foden. Get really, really tight to him. Be aggressive. Ekatike. This is a useless position. Completely useless. Why are you stood here? Get into here. Don't let him have any sort of outball. Get in front of this player. Squeeze the gap. He's doing nothing, just standing there. Nothing at all. Okay, we're moving on. The ball comes to Foden. This is why if Bradley was tight to him, he could have smashed Foden here. Foden can't possibly be allowed to turn and play from here. It can't possibly happen. Ekatike again. No, doing nothing now. So Foden, if he wanted, could pass the ball to either of these two players and City would be out. Just like that. It's easy as pie. Gravenberch is way, way too deep. So is McAllister. So is Robbo. Well, just like that, the ball comes into that player that Foden could have passed the ball to. Ekatike still stood there. He's got his arms out now. He's saying, what? Off the ball, he needs to improve a lot, in my opinion. Szoboszlai also, he's got his arms up. What? It doesn't make any sense. Van Dijk shrugging his shoulders. It's so poor. They get the ball. Okay, let's move it on. Now Nico O'Reilly's got it. No pressure on the ball. They've been able to play out like this. No pressure on the ball from their own corner flag. The ball comes to Doku now, who, remember, a second ago, he was marked tightly by Szoboszlai. Okay? Now Szoboszlai just walks away from him. Look how he progressively gets further and further away. Doku doesn't move. Look where Doku is. Okay? Keep note, he's in the middle of this lighter green line. Doku doesn't move. He's moved slightly, maybe 2 yards forward. Why is Szoboszlai now 5-10 yards off him? Because when this ball comes to him, he could have been tight, tackled him, but he wasn't. Now Doku can play. Oh, well, maybe Doku doesn't have a pass. Oh no, he's got an easy pass inside. Easy. And that's where the ball goes. Nico Gonzalez has got it. And now you've got 3 Liverpool players. Here's Dumb and Dumber. Gravenberch and McAllister Gravenberch and McAllister doing nothing, remember? Just way off it now. So one of them should have been here. The other one should now be here, so this ball can't come back. McAllister in this position is just completely ineffective. He's not blocking this, or this. He's just doing nothing. Well, the ball comes into the middle now, and City, just like that, are out. From here, great play from City, but very easy from us. They're out. Look at all this space down each wing, and you can't see it on the right-hand side, but look at the space. You'll see it in a second, because Matheus Nunes just goes absolutely flying down the wing. Look how narrow Liverpool's team is. So here's Salah, who pressing the corner flag. And look at the rest of Liverpool's team. Let me try and draw the width of Liverpool's team from furthest. That's the width. This makes no sense. Now Nunes gets the ball, advances it right up the line. And Van Dijk, because he was so deep, if you remember, has had to come across and challenge Nunes for this cross. And now Cara did a whole thing on Sky, analysing Van Dijk coming out to the left and wanting to get back to the middle because that's his position, obviously, and not being able to, and he's saying that's why we let the cross come in. Now, I completely understand his point, and I completely agree. Van Dijk did not want to be out here at all, and he wanted to swap with Robbo. As soon as this ball goes back, you can see here, the ball's gone back. Van Dijk is already telling Robbo, look, come on, we can swap. Robbo's not looking for some reason. I don't know why. But they can do it here if they're quick. If they are decisive and intense in what they do. They can easily swap before the danger arises. City actually play a few passes. And now, finally, Van Dijk and Robbo swap. Okay, and Cara pointed this out. Cara pointed out Robbo saying to Van Dijk, no, you stay out here. And he said Van Dijk is wrong for running inside. That's what he said. Now, I think I disagree. Van Dijk is getting back into his position. I think when this ball comes here to Ruben Dias and they've swapped over, the effort levels of Wirtz and Robbo is not anywhere near good enough to prevent what happens. The ball comes out wide. If Robbo sprints, if he really sprints out, he could get out there. If Wirtz really sprints, he can affect the cross. They don't sprint though, they just jog. Really, really slowly, just amble over, they just jog over. Now, Nunez actually fakes a cross once. But look how far away Robbo is. He actually fakes the cross. Okay, they still haven't crossed it in. Bernardo Silva's ran off Wirtz. Now he fakes it. He has time to get it back out of his feet. Wirtz again, just jogging over. No intention to tackle. The ball comes in. Hits Haaland in the head because our centre-back doesn't jump. For some reason, Konate doesn't jump. I don't know why. He, misses the ball. Haaland scores. We're not done. We're not even done there in the first half. Look at this one. This is from the corner that they scored the second goal from. They're taking the corner. Just look at the absolute lack of organisation, effort again. I know I keep saying effort, but it is. To close down, to get out of the box, to make an interception, a tackle. I mean, Turkey has how many passes? 1, 2, 3? Easily. Salah's just stood there, almost by his side. No intention to tackle. Not even in a defensive stance at all. Just nothing. The ball comes out. Look at our players in the box. So slow to get out. Walking, Van Dijk walking, Konate walking. Ekitike tries to run out, but he's too late. Everybody's too late. There's no desire. I watched Dan Ballard for Sunderland. I said this in the ratings. Throwing himself at balls, trying to make blocks. Like, he doesn't have the talent of these players, but he has the effort. And that's why they're above us in the league. The ball comes in, and this from Van Dijk is a joke. It's a joke. It's defending here. Sticking his leg out in the manner he does, like that. Just a little turn of his heel, try and block it, is unacceptable. It's a joke. And this is why, for me, everyone online who's trying to put Liverpool's problems down to some sort of like magical, tactical solution and come up with all these different things. No, for me, the number one thing that will help Liverpool is if they run harder, they tackle harder, they play harder. I've seen people saying we were tired. Oh, it was our third game in 7 nights. I am absolutely sick and tired of hearing this schedule as an excuse, to be honest. We've got a young team. Crystal Palace are playing in Europe as well, okay? They're playing every week. They have a much thinner squad than us, okay? They play the first 15 players they have on their team sheet pretty much every week. The same players. They rarely ever rotate, okay? They've smashed us twice already this season, especially the cup game and the first half of the Premier League game. They smashed us, okay? Are they tired? City are playing every 3 days. Are they tired? If we're tired, then I don't know what's going on. They must all be unfit. It's ridiculous. They score again. Okay. Now, this is the third goal. This is Doku, who finished us off. And he deserved it completely. O'Reilly has it. So much space. The ball comes to Doku in the middle. Just look at Gravenberch and McAllister again. Where are they going? Does anyone on this team talk to one another? Because if they do, when these two are running back, I understand why Maka might need to track Foden. But can they pass him on to Van Dijk? Could Maka track him and tell Gravenberch, no, you don't need to run back to centre back. You run out here and help. But they're too late. Doku just beats Konate easily because he's got the turning circle of an oil rig. Has a shot, scores a goal, and just look. Again, 3-0 down. Look at the body language of these players. These players are an embarrassment right now. Again, I just watched Dalglish's documentary. They played every single 3 days. Same 11 players. They had one sub. right? One sub. I watched some of the tackles. They were atrocious, okay? Getting absolutely kicked around. But they'd play, and they were fucking good as well. This is a joke. Head down, head down, head down, head down, head down. Embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. Look at this. That's the last photo from the game. You'd be pleased to know. This is the momentum graph. This is City's third goal right here. Okay. I think it might actually technically line up there with that tiny bit of blue. Now, I don't really know. I'm not a massive fan of these graphs because I don't really know what like this much momentum means. What is it like measured in? You know, why is this bit lower than this bit? How do they measure? What's the units they use? I don't know. Why are some blobs larger than other blobs? I don't really know. But what it tells you is City had all the momentum until they scored the third goal. Basically all of it, the whole game. We had a tiny little period before half-time. This is when we scored our disallowed goal. That should have stood, by the way. And then I put this in because at this point, City just stopped playing. They just stopped playing the game. They knew the game was won, and that's why we had this little false dawn of hope, of momentum. And that is not good enough. At all. What else isn't good enough? This is our pass map from the game. This is all tactical stuff, guys. This is our pass map. Now, does this look like a functioning team's pass map to you? Here's Ekatike up front. What you'll notice is he has no lines associated with him. 0. Because nobody passes him the ball. Nobody. He's also, if you sort of notice, playing left wing striker. Because our left winger is stood here in the middle of the pitch. Which is his position, by the way. Playing a number 10 at left wing and then going, oh my god, but he stood inside the pitch so much. That shouldn't shock you. That's stupidity at that point. These 4 players stood on top of each other in the middle. Bradley as well stood on top of each other. Konate and Van Dijk, Konate's way further back for some reason. Don't know why. We're very narrow. Salah's really high. Salah's probably the only player here who I think is roughly where they should be. Maybe Szoboszlai, maybe Van Dijk. Look how clustered we are. No shape. Wirtz has got to start playing better. I'm sorry. I watched him for Germany, and he's not like this. So, I don't know. This is the eye-opening stuff. Okay. Man City ran almost 9 kilometres more than Liverpool on Sunday. It's the second most the team has been outrun by the entire season. The only one was when Man City outrun Wolves by almost 10k on the opening day of the season. We were second. This is unacceptable. We're just not running hard enough, guys. This is the stats to back it up what I'm saying. This is not all a tactical problem. This is an effort problem. Look at this. I took this little screen grab, okay, from some stats that I saw because I wanted to read them to you. Oh, and by the way, before I do, we've actually been outran, and I believe 6 of our 7 last games. The only one we outran a team in was Chelsea. So we're just not running hard enough. This never happened, by the way, before when Klopp was here. Never happened. Liverpool, tackles and interceptions down 20% on last season. Last season, this Liverpool team were making combined 25 tackles and interceptions per Premier League game. This season, it stands at 20 and is the lowest in the Premier League. That's right, the lowest. No tackles, no interceptions are ever made by Liverpool. In the defeat to Man City on Sunday, Liverpool were out-tackled 17-8, despite having roughly an equal share of possession. And I want to make note of the players City played in their team as well. They had Erling Haaland, Ryan Cherky, Bernardo Silva. These are all good players. Bernardo Silva's 31. Okay, he's not exactly ever had lots of legs anyway. He can get around the pitch, but he's not, possessed with amazing athleticism. Haaland barely moves. Okay, especially when City have the ball. Cherky, his number one criticism is off the ball. Can he keep up with the Premier League? Right, well, those 3 players are in a team that outran us by almost 10k. It's astounding, it really is. Ryan Gravenberch, Alexis McAllister, and Dominic Szoboszlai made 0 tackles in that game. 0 from our 3 midfielders in a massive, massive away game at Man City. 0 tackles. I swear to God, Graham Souness would be... his mind will be blown. No tackles. Florian Wirtz, 0 tackles. Mo Salah actually made 2. Enough said. Liverpool ranked 9th in the Premier League list of clubs who made the most tackles in the middle area of the pitch last season. Okay, so 9th, middle of the pack. You'd expect that when you're on the ball so much. This season, they lie rock bottom, and it's not even close. Tottenham top of the list with 103, and Liverpool have made 49. Less than half. Less than half. We never tackle. We never intercept. We never do anything defensively except watch. The current top 4 in the Premier League have all made between 64 and 69 middle third tackles this season. Liverpool have made 49. We're below Nottingham Forest and Newcastle, again, at the bottom of the table. We make no tackles. This is an effort problem. So guys, that is going to be it for today's video. We've looked there at the Man City game. We've looked at some really worrying stats. Looked at some setup things that City did to really, really mitigate our quality, if there is any, at the club at the minute. And proposed solutions and what have been proposed by others and what maybe I think we should do as well to combat these sides. But really, it comes down to effort. And I hope I've outlined that enough in this video. I hope you did enjoy. Apologies, it's taken me a little while to get this one out, but I hope you can forgive me, given the circumstances of the week that I mentioned at the start of the video. I hope you all did enjoy, and if you did, drop a like, comment away, subscribe to the channel. Podcast listeners, 5-star rating and reviews, thank you very, very much. We're trying to get to 250 subscribers on YouTube, so click subscribe, help me out. Back with another video, and if you like the idea of the old school sort of watch long video, if I can figure that out and I won't get copyrighted, I'll do it for you all. Let me know in the comments below. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Hope you have a good weekend. Enjoy the international break, because I know I will. I'll speak to you all very soon. Goodbye.